Merry Christmas, everybody. So, for today, we're going to be doing some blue-white spirits. For those who don't know, it's a tribal deck that uses the creature spirit, and we have interaction in the form of Maelstrom Wanderer to counter spells unless they pay X. We have Spectral Sailor as a way to flash in. We've got Rattle Chain as a way to protect our own spirits, Selfless Spirits to make our spirits indestructible if they try to board wipe, Skyclave Apparition to deal with anything our opponents are doing unless it costs more than 4 mana. Then we've got Glasspool Movements as a way to copy a spirit. And then Spell Queller as our way to stop them from playing a spell that costs 4 or less. And then we've got Drogskol Captain and Supreme Phantom as the Spirit Lords to make our creatures a bit bigger. Other than that, it's your standard aggro deck where we're trying to go quick and kill them dead. We've got all of them except for Skyclave Apparition have flying, so that's more than enough most of the time for evasion. And you've got Aether Vial as a way to flash in the things that don't have flash, but because we're also running Rattle Chains, our spirits will gain flash. For the sideboard, we've got a couple cavernous, or for lands, you've got a couple cavernous souls. That way your spirits are uncounterable. You've got some flooded strands and some just blue-white lands. And then a horizon canopy so that way you can redraw. For the sideboard plan, what we've got going on is we've got 3 paths in case we need more removal from just Skyclave Apparition. Paths will help us deal with creatures or things, well, creatures that we can't deal with. Remorseful Cleric and Rest in Peace will help us deal with the graveyard. And then we have Core Firewalkers, which will gain protection from red, and then red spells when cast we gain some life. That's for the red matchups, so that way we don't die too quick. Force of Negation, in case they're a combo-esque deck that doesn't utilize creatures, we can counter it, and because we've got a good amount of blue spells, or we can counter their counters with Force of Negation if they're a counter deck. And then for Tron or other decks that need to cast lots of spells, we've got Damping Sphere, so that way we don't die. That's the quick rundown of spirits, and let's have some fun in this league. Merry Christmas, everybody. We've got a turn 1 Wanderer into Supreme Phantom, hit for 3. Sure, we'll try this. It's a bit on the land heavy side, but I think that's fine. That, fetch for our basic island, play out the spirit, and pass the turn. Okay, facing elves. Alright. This'll be a fun one. Spirits versus elves, the battle of the tribal. Arguably, I should be playing out the Seachrome Coast, but c'est la. Do that, we have ourselves a 3-3, and we get in for 3 here. And then we'll pass the turn. Opponent's down to 17. There's the Mystic. And another Mystic. Alright. Spirit, or Elves is going wide real quick. They'll have 4 mana next turn, which isn't looking great for us, meaning they could Collected Company into something very scary. We could hold up Queller here. I, however, think it is better to just try to aggro out this turn with the Drogskol Captain. Because we get in for 6 this way, and 2 of our creatures have hexproof. And worst comes to worst, we can sacrifice to make their Collected Company countered for 3. Okay, so they're not Coco. They're going with a Dwynen's Elite. That is fine by us. A second Elite. They are going very wide. Meaning, we're not looking too hot in terms of how much damage they're presenting here. So we definitely want to hold up the Queller. Although, so 3, 6, 8. No, Mimic just wins here. Right? Because we do Mimic, copy Drogskol Captain. Our things, this goes 4, this gets to 5. So 5, 9, 12. Yeah. That'll do it. Cast this glasspool Mimic. And opponent concedes. Alrighty, there we go. Getting game 1 versus elves. We need to be faster. Paths is tempting. They don't tap lots. I mean, Damping Sphere doesn't seem bad because they try to play lots of elves in a turn, but at the same time, they don't. They don't do anything with the graveyard. I think it's just paths here. I don't know what we have that's not great. What's a Shackle Guys do? We can tap spirits we don't control. Shave on Shacklegeist and Sailors. Actually, yeah. Yeah. That's what we'll do. And run it like so, and let's see if we can't get there. There we go. I'm assuming they're going to take the play here. Okay, so we've got lots of I don't like it, but at the same time I like it. We're going to mulligan. This is a keep, and we will bottom a Queller. We'll bottom a Moorland Haunt. I'd rather be able to stop what they're doing. Alright, Heritage Druid is not an elf we want to see. We will go with a Flooded Strand past the turn. This way, if they go to cast something like Dwynen's Elite, we can in response fetch Shock and get rid of Heritage Druid, although they have 2. So that line isn't as good. Notice, however, they are stuck on 1 land. Flooded Strand, go get ourselves a Hollowed Fountain, put it into play tapped. And Cavernous Souls sounds pretty good to me. Name Spirit. We will go blue, play the Wanderer, and pass the turn. That way we can hold up Path here. In case they do something we really don't like. Nettle Sentinel. In response, Path one of the Heritage Druids, so that way they don't have 3 mana this turn. Yes, they get a bit of mana, but they don't ramp. Okay, now this is interesting. I like dropping down the Skyclave here. Because then we can eat their other Heritage Druid. And they no longer have their mana gain. Hey, thank you very much for the subscription, Fishhawk. Fishhawk. Sorry. Thank you very much. Enjoy your emote. I personally use it a lot because I screw up like I just did there. I should have attacked with the Maelstrom Wanderer. Forgot to. But thank you very much, man. Always appreciated. And Nettle Sentinel. Yep, they get their Lana War down. Luckily, they're stuck on mana a bit here. Of course, they have Heritage Druid number 2. That's only instants and sorceries, so we can't use it. And 3 mana, they get their Archdruid down, making me real sad that we went with killing a Heritage Druid over that. However, we can still come back from this relatively fine. Okay. So if we hold up Queller, we can quell something that they do. Or we only get in for 1. I doubt they're blocking, but we could drop down a Supreme Phantom and then hold up Spectral Sailor to just chump block. We'll do that line instead. Supreme Phantom, get in for 6 here. See if opponent wants to block. They do not, surprising no one. And then we end the turn, and it's them. Yep, Clan Collar, that's not good. They've got more lords than we do. They go like that. We will drop down the Spectral Sailor. It doesn't trade with anything. 3, 6, 10. We go to 4. We can't kill on the swing back. So, well, can we? We need to hit a Lord here. Lord would be 4 plus 2, so 6 plus 3 is 9. And then they block. So yeah, we can't even kill on the crack back. So we just have to jump here and pray. Block the most damage possible. And I'm assuming that they've got a collected company here. We go down to 8. We have to hold everything back for blocks. But we've got Queller to stop whatever they do. Would help if I knew how my card worked. We do this, we quell the collected company. Our Wanderer gets bigger, and Coco gets exiled. They untap their Sentinel. They did not have Dismember, which is good for us, but if they have second Coco here, we can be in massive trouble. They do have second Coco. So we can sack, make them pay. They probably won't. We let that go. We can make them pay. We make them pay. They pay here. We go block, 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 lose everything. Or block, block, go down to 1. We still make them decide if getting 2 more elves here is worth it. Interesting that they chose to tap that way. And they got 2 lords. They get another lord and play the lord. Yep. So we are dead on board. There's nothing we can do about that. Way too many creatures. Double Cocoa will do it, and we lose game 2. Let's move on to game 3 here. I still like what we did. All right. We will gladly take the play here. You've got Wanderer. Yeah. We're missing a land, but we've got a lot of other things to do. That name Spirit. Go for blue, play out the Maelstrom Wanderer, pass the turn. Essence Warden. Okay. Drop down this Wanderer, gain some power, they gain some life. But that's fine. We need a land off the top here, and we can go drogskol into drogskol. At which point they won't be able to target any of our things. We get in for 2 and pass the turn. They play out the Dwynen's Elite, gain themselves 2 life here. Gonna always yield to the Essence Warden. We don't have a way to interact with that card. Step. Okay, we draw Wanderer number 3. And we play Wanderer number 3. Get in for 4. Opponent's down to 18. We're at 20. Another Dwynen's Elite. Alright. They gain back to 20. And do they swing? They do not. Interesting, meaning that they've got a Lord effect. We cannot draw land to save our life, apparently. We will swing in, even though we're expecting a Lord effect here. Hoping that they just don't have the mana to cast it. Oh, they have Chord of Calling for 3. No. Clan Caller, yeah, that'll happen. We kind of gotta just let that hit. We go down to 9 here. And we can't draw land to save our life. Let's see. So we have to hold. We swing with the Selfless Spirit, take them down to 14, sack the Spirit, so that way we have Indestructible. We can block 6. We take 2, 4, 6, 7, go down to 2, but we aren't winning from that point. That's unfortunate. We could bring in the, or flash in the rattle chains as an additional blocker as well. That's probably what we're going to do here. There's the Nettle Sentinel. They go to 15. Another Sentinel. They go even bigger. And looks like elves will go wider than spirits can handle and kill us here. Because yes, we get a couple of blocks. It doesn't matter. Okay. I want to go ahead and get this rattle chains in so that way we have more damage if we happen to. The problem is we can only hit for 12. We go down to 7, we play this out, and those gain. We can block 5. We'll pass for now. Okay, well now they've got lots of mana. And so I guess if they have, what's it called? The elf that Azuri? Okay, that's not Azuri, so we're still fine for now. Although they're at 20, we're not going to be able to one-shot them. They go to 21 here. So this is just trying to fight a losing battle. We're still going to fight it, but I doubt we're winning here. Yep, there's the Coco. I mean, I could sack and make them pay. Because they can pay 2 easily by tapping 3. But tapping 3 hurts them. They'd lose a 4. They lose 3 4s. They lose 3 and then 2 4s. And then have 24. We'd block, take 4. Go to 3 and then not have anything. We let it happen. Interesting, it was only 1 Mystic. Assuming all of these get turned sideways. Really? So 5, 5, 5, 5, 4. We do that. I would like to give our creatures indestructible. We take 4, go to 3. Opponent's at 22. We can't do anything, and we don't draw a land. How nice. Losing game 1 to statistical improbability? Not surprising. How deep was our land? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we weren't going to get that many turns against elves. All right, see you guys in match 2. All right, we will gladly take the play here. So 2 lands, Vile Wanderer. We'll keep. We need a white source. Ideally, I would like to not have to use this glasspool mimic as a land. So we're going to hold off if we draw a land here. I forgot you have to put the vial trigger onto the stack if it's the only trigger still. I'd love to say yes, we can do that. Play out the shore and pass the turn. Okay, Jeskai Triome here. Go ahead, activate Aether Vial. Say yes, put in the Wanderer. Say yes there. Okay. Shacklegeist. Opponent goes a fetching. We see in a mana leak. I will go ahead and counter your mana leak here. Bring in the Selfless Spirit to get in for 3. It's 1 less damage to start, but we've now got a pretty strong board state here. If they try to do something like Teferi, we can... Well, we can't sack Maelstrom Wanderer specifically. So, yeah. That'll happen. Not a fan of this. I thought that was going to be a lot better. It's not. Bounces the Selfless Spirit. Okay. Makes me think that they really don't want us to have Indestructible. But we're not going to stop that. Okay. We're going to go 1 at Teferi and 2 at them, and then pass the turn. Because now we can either Vial in a Drogskol, or if they do something that we don't like, Vial in Spell Queller. And then Teferi's now under the Queller. Okay, they didn't have the Bolt, which is good for us, because now we get this Drogskol Captain down. And at this point, it is always no, always yield. Okay. We will go ahead and tap in this, do Drogskol Captain, grows, and get in for 9 here. Opponent goes down to 4. Arrow, sure. Gain some life, draw a card, put in a land. They can only target our Lord, and we've got the Rattle Chains if they do try to target, so they need mass removal. They're not going to have mass removal here. Have the counter spell? Alright, there we go. So facing Uropile, I like the rips. I like force of negation. I'm not too worried about the graveyard, so I don't want the rips plus the remorseful clerics. It might actually be better for us to put in the clerics because that's a spirit. No, they're bringing in more targeted removal. So we go like that. We want these cards. As far as what's not great against them, Shacklegeists. They don't play a lot of creatures besides Uro. We can shave 3 Shacklegeist and a Sailor. I don't like shaving that many blue cards. We'll do like that. Selfless is still a good card, but it's not necessarily the greatest. Okay, that's a turn 1 Vial. Then we have Captain, possibly double Captain. We'll keep. All right, opponent probably has turn 1 Force of Negation, which is going to be very unfortunate for us. Go ahead and guarantee that we've got our colors. Then Vial. Ooh, Vial stuck. That's good for us. Opponent fetches here, gets Triome. Okay, so they are 4-color Uro. Mystic Sanctuary tapped. Say yes. There we go. White right rip. One was F6 through the turn. They have a Teferi, which is unfortunate. They'll be able to either bounce the rip or the Vial. Chooses the Vial, that's fine. Cavernous Souls, name Spirit. And we will go ahead and drop a Skyclave here. And exile their Teferi. I don't like the Nanbo with Moorland Haunt and Rest in Peace. Interesting if they floated a white. Jace the Mind Sculptor. Okay. So this is 4 or less? Cool. So they had a Brainstorm. And that's it. This. Try to drop down a Vial. And they are F6'd. Nope, because this is not a Spirit. So they could counter this Glasspool Mimic. Do that. Get rid of their Jace. And get in for 2 here. Opponent's down to 16. They have Field of Ruin or Hour of Promise. They're going to make some zombies. Well, more specifically, they make a zombie. Or, yeah, they make 2. Because they get a land plus the other one. Vial will tick up. And now we can go drogskol plus rattle chains back up. Meaning if opponent wanted to, they could double block, kill one of our Skyclaves. We'll let them choose if they want to double block. They do. So they'll get a 4/4 here. It's a bit on the unfortunate side. Can't really stop that unless we purposely hold back. But I don't think we're afraid of a 4/4 right now. Yeah, we take 4. They play a Scalding Tarn. Flashing in. They've got counter spells in hand. We don't even try to fight that. I'm assuming they're trying to field our cavern. We'll float our mana for the uncounterable spirit. Do this. They get a basic land here and get a zombie. Now we're gonna do the uncounterable spirit. Target our drogskol captain. Okay. Move into combat and hit them for 2. Player land, pass the turn. They fetch down to 10. Breeding pool tapped, make themselves a zombie. So we're currently sitting down 8. Growth spiral. Do they have the land? Sitting down 10. 12. 14. They're down to 8 though. And then has a cycle for the triome. Okay. As the Omnath. Yeah. That'll happen. Flooded Strand, so they gain 4 life here, making everything that they were getting themselves low with irrelevant. And they will have us here from the aspect of we can only block so much. Block like that. In step, we can go ahead and activate Vial. We're down to 1. They're at 12. If we have a way to gain flying and pump, but we don't. We'll go ahead and bump that up. Draw a second rip. Okay. Rip's not nearly as good. It wasn't terrible there, but they didn't have nearly as much removal, so I'm gonna bring in the clerics, take out the rips. They didn't do nearly as much as I was expecting them to. And we'll run it back. Let's see if we can get there. Alright, we would love the play. Sure. Turn 1 vials, never a bad plan. This fetch shock. Vial pass turn. Flooded strand and passes. We do that, we say yes. We get a force of negation. That's interesting. Go ahead and drop this remorseful cleric and pass the turn. We've got plenty to counter if we wanted. Fetches off this Misty, gets a basic forest. Brennan 6. I'd rather you not. Go ahead and put that onto the stack, say yes. Alright, miss our land drop here, but that's fine. Opponent's at 16, we pass the turn. The Field of the Dead's real good for us. Go ahead and activate Vial. Say yes, put in the rattle change targets there. When wants to, they can path. They bolt the rattle chains, sure. Yes, land, spirit. Do that. We will go with, it doesn't matter because it'll be uncounterable. Drogskol Captain, get in for 3 here. Now, whatever opponent does, we have a Queller for. Burrow. No, thank you. I would rather you not gain life. And then we hit them for 8 here. They go down to 5. Vial, always no, always yield. Okay. Swing with everything, take opponent down to 5. And we can't not, but we'll fade like we've got Spell Queller, because this is lethal on board. Teferi, sure. You can bounce the Drogskol. Then you've got a green up. And I have a Vial. And there we go, taking down Pile, going 1-1 with Spirits. So we would flash in the Drogskol Captain there. We would draw a card for the turn. And MTGO's not going to let us see what we would draw. All right. Unfortunate, but hey. There we are, 1-1. Bob's going to take the play here, I'm assuming, since they won the die roll. And we'll see. And this is not a keepable hand. Mulligan. We'll keep bottoming. I guess bottoming a Drogskol. That feels so wrong to do. But I don't know how quickly we're going to get to 3 mana when we're keeping a 1-lander. That named spirit put in a vial and pass the turn. Misty. All right. Okay, with the second one of those, we'll go blue uncounterable Supreme Phantom past the turn. Hold up being able to put in Wanderer off a vial here. They want to go for the bolts. And we fade the bolt, but at what cost? Arrow. To fairy what? Bounce the vial? Yep. To fairy bounces vial, feels a bit bad. Land? Go there, combat, do this, it's a fairy. And then we'll flash in the Spectral Sailor on their instep. That's not bad. Right, blue, go with the drogskol, make it uncounterable. And then get in for 5. As path. So we'll get in for 4. Or get in for 3. Math is hard. They go down to 9. Plays Omnath. Okay. That in itself is worthy of a Skyclave. Vial that, yes. Rattle chains, that's a fun one. Skyclave here. No Omnath for you, opponent. We'll go ahead and do this just to try to close out quicker. Take opponent down to 4. They now need board wipe or bust. They have the board wipe. And then they get a 4/4. We will say yes because anything that we draw, as long as there wasn't a land there, would have been great. We pass the turn here because they happen to be running Verdict main board. They go down to 3. Makes me think that they might have another Omnath here. Rattle chain, so that way if we hit a lord, we win. This, no, healed. Draw ourselves a Selfless Spirit. Not bad, not bad. Take opponent down to 1. They can no longer fetch lands. Paying costs? Bounce the vial, draw a card? Sure. Omnaths? Sure. Draws, plays the land, gains life. Instantly cracks. I disagree with that. Mystic Sanctuary, put what, Cryptic on top? Do you have a way to draw? Puts Bolt on top. Okay. It's a fairy. I don't like that. We'll do this. Bounces the rattle chains. Yeah. Your bolt does not get to resolve, opponent. They get in for 4. They've got us on a 2-turn clock here. Flooding out. Unfortunate. Aether Vial. Has the Force of Negation. Fun. Since I'm limited to sorcery speed now, we have to go ahead and rattle chains. We don't have a Moorland Haunt to make spirits here. Omnath gains them life. The fairy goes up. At this point, we need... there's nothing we can hit. They've gained too much life of Omnath. Cool. Alright. So another 4-color pile. I like Force of Negation. I like Remorseful Cleric. In all honesty, Path doesn't seem awful as a way to deal with their stuff. Shacklegeist does indeed seem pretty bad in this matchup. So we will get rid of it. And run it like so and see how we do. It's a little land heavy, but I'd rather be land heavy than land light. As we do this, we name Spirit Uncounterable Maelstrom Wanderer, or Maelstrom Wanderer. Okay, they go with a Misty Rainforest. At you, this fetch for white. Go white, white, selfless. They go fetching. Okay. Like, what are they fetching for? You're gonna path my wander? Okay. So we will have... Ooh. Blue, white, 1. Drogskol. They fetch. Get themselves a tapped land. We do that. And now combat, we get in for 6. Next turn, we'll have a first spell that they'll be able to try to counter. If they can't counter it, they lose. Yeah, I was gonna say they need exactly Uro here. But then they tap out, so Force of Negation can't counter a creature. Puts us in a pretty safe spot to win. That shock. Blue, that white. Glasspool cast. Opponent concedes. So 4, 8, 11, but then all of our things they can't target, so they would need exactly Supreme Verdict. I feel they were one card early on that concession, but let's run it back and see how we can do. And this is a mulligan. This is a very aggressive hand. All right. So if we can get another land here in the next 2 draws, we are golden. Land. Ooh, beautiful. Wanderer. Yep. Get in for 3. Opponent cracks a Flooded Strand here. Takes their damage and passes to them. The Field of Ruin is played, followed with an Uro. Alright, this is our best chance to land this drogskol. And that glasspool's real nice. That. We'll get basic island. White, white, blue, drogskol. Opponent cracks the Tarn. Assuming it's Triome. Yeah. Neat. We have a bunch of 3/3s. And we have a counter unless opponent pays 2 for instants and sorceries. Not looking great if they have Supreme Verdict here. Green, red, 1. Fire Spout? Cast, and then 3 to each if flying. And I win by sacking 2 Wanderers here. Opponent pays. Fun. I mean, I don't win, but opponent's in a tough spot. That blue, white, white. Glasspool, cast, copy the drogskol. In combat, swing for 7. Opponent goes down to 1. They can no longer fetch. Let's see what they do. There's the Omnath. So they can draw a card, gain life. If they have a land. But this is 9. They can only gain 8, putting them to 9. There we go. Taking it against yet another 4-color Earl. Let's see how many of these matchups in a row we're gonna hit. Yeah, hand looks decent. That spirit vial pass turn. Swamp Inquisition. Yep. Takes Phantom here. At least that's my pick if I'm them. I guess I could also see maybe taking the Wanderer. But yeah, they take Phantom. And there we go. Put Vial onto the stack here, say yes. Then we've got Rattle Chains plus Wanderer? Sure. Okay, so facing probably what is Rakdos. That's a Croaks, 2 Hiss. That'll resolve. We discard Spectral Sailor here. Just from the aspect of we're never getting to that amount of mana. So that instep. This, say yes to you. That cast blue 1. That, take it up to 2. And we hit a Shacklegeist. That's a fun one. Go ahead and get in for 2. I guess we could go ahead and flash in the Shacklegeist here. Increase it to 4. And that way if we draw a Lord or anything, we're fine. I guess we could have put the Mimic into play as a land. That probably wouldn't have been a bad idea here. Our issue's gonna be if they have the Blood Moon, because we currently do not have our white and blue basics. Hmm. Opponents deciding what they want to do. Okay, they're Jund. I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting that one. So what? Ping off the Rattle Chains. Okay. And then has push. Chooses to not push. Let's go ahead and draw ourselves a card off of this. We see second Shacklegeist. We will go no. We will put this into play. And then We will hit Ren and 6 for 2, hit them for 1. And pass the turn. Alrighty. So, Verdant Catacombs, they go down to 14 here. They won't have black, black, red, red. So this at best could be like a Bloodbraid Elf for them. Yep. Bloodbraid cascades into a Kroxa. That's unfortunate. We'll discard the Shacklegeist. Then it gets sacked, and then they have a 3/2. Step will activate Vial. Put in the Selfless Spirit. Yes, I know we miss out on a point of damage. We gain on that same point of damage by having in a 2/1 that can swing. Vial will go ahead and go up here in case we hit something like that. The swing out, hit opponent for 5. Opponent goes down to 7. Pass the turn to them. Jund, huh? Black, black. They fetch down to 6 here. Black, black, red, red. Bring back a Kroxa. Do it. Do it, opponent. You know you want to. Liliana of the Veil. Target player sacrifices a creature. I want to go ahead and do this. Get rid of their Lily, sack our... In all honesty, it sack the Skyclave. That way we've got 5 in the air, 6 if we draw anything that's a spirit. Scoos, sure. You can't gain life anymore. Opponent hits us for 3, we go down to 13. Spirit off the top here wins us this game. Vial, always no, always yield now that we're at 3. Not only was that a spirit, that is the best spirit we could have drawn there. Rah rah. Turn him sideways. Opponent concedes, and we move on to game 2. Okie doke. Jund. Not opposed to Remorseful Clerics. They've got enough that Shacklegeist doesn't seem terrible. But I still think it's Shacklegeist and Spectral Sailor are our weakest cards here. No need for that. We could think about bringing in Force of Negation here. Hits their Renin 6 and their Liliana of the Veil, which are problem cards for us. We have the Skyclaves to kind of sort of deal with those, though. So I think we just run it. Bring in the Clerics, shave on his Geist and a Spectral Sailor. See how this plays out. Okay. Opponent. Awesome. There we go. Huh. No blue sources, but double vial. We'll draw a blue source. The redundant pieces in this hand are just so nice against an Inquisition deck. Yep. You take in one of my two vials, you take in one of my two phantoms, or you take in the Skyclave. It's probably one of the vials here. Takes a phantom. Interesting. Vial pass turn. Black green scoos eats. Well, can't eat, but wishes they could eat. Did somebody say Aether Vial? So we're gonna have a vial on 1, 2, and 3, possibly. Yeah, in all honesty, we'll have 2 on 2. Red, black, black, Lily. Uptick each player discards. Okay. We'll discard the Supreme Phantom. Opponent pitch to land. The reason we discard Supreme Phantom there is because next turn we have the Skyclave. So all of these for now are yes. That's a fun one. That. Go get ourselves our basic blue. This Skyclave. Get rid of that Lily. Pass the turn. Ravine. I'm not blocking your Scoos. Scoos is A-okay with me. Yeah, eat my 2 creatures. Give yourself a 4/4. It's going away at the end of this turn. You just don't know that yet. So say yes, say yes. Say yes. Oh, baby. That's a fun one. I mean, because we can play these at instant speed, you just get in for 2 and pass the turn. Opponent goes down to 14, it's their turn. This specifies non-land, non-token? Yeah. So that'll have to hit the Scavenging Ooze here, assuming they don't do anything else. Bloodstained Mire for opponent here. They try to swing for 4. We'll go ahead and do this. Glasspool Mimic. Copy that. Exile their Skoos. Black-red Croxa. Sounds good. ETB triggers on the stack. Will activate. Say yes. Put in Remorseful Cleric. We take 3, however, Croxa goes to the yard. And then we will go ahead and sacrifice destroying their yard. Arguably, we could wait. But... So that one, this one, this one. Say no. Say yes. Always no. Always yield. Alright, we get a land, which isn't great. They can't animate the Raging Ravine. We'll go ahead and swing with both. 10 all. Play the Flooded Strand and pass the turn here. When it goes down to 9. So our issue is we're racing this Raging Ravine, which isn't what we want to be doing. They hit Bloodbraid? They did not. So they are just animating here and getting in. They'll be taking 4, and now we have to leave back a blocker. We could thin the deck with the Flooded Strand. However... yeah, we'll thin the deck. Vial, vial, vial. Always no. Always no. Okay, flooding out. We will smack for 2 and pass. Problem is, this gives them a 2/2. These are not creatures we want to be blocking with. But we kind of sort of gotta. Yep. Supreme Phantom. That's an interesting one. Doesn't buy us anything, though. We can trade there. They get a 3/3. Chump block there. Yeah, we're just not going to beat this Raging Ravine. We've flooded out is basically what this game comes down to. We hit lots of lands and we hit another third vial. They animate the Raging Ravine, meaning we have to try to block. They move to combat. I'll go ahead and do this. They have a 6/6. We have to block like that. We trade there. But they then get a 3/3. So it's not even really trading. We've yielded to our vials. We hit a drogskol. That's nice, but doesn't do us anything there. Like I said, we just hit too many lands. And let's see if we can not do that against our Jund opponent. Paths are tempting now. Paths remove Sailor and Shackle. And we'll keep in. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll shave like that. This will hopefully be good enough. We'll find out, though. A lot of this is really just what feels right. I don't necessarily know this is what you should be sideboarding against this deck. But Paz will help us in the aspect of now if they come in and try to hit us with Raging Ravines, we have answers. But the apparitions felt really good against what they were doing. We just weren't able to close out. I would love to play first. Tempting, no blue source. Mulligan. Keep this bottom. I guess it's bottom. Bottom Shacklegeist. Problem is this hand gets picked apart with Inquisition stuff. Ooh, opponent mulligan to 4, however. Opponent concedes. I don't like winning like that. That's never fun. Well, we were getting our third land, so we were going to be able to Queller and Supreme Phantom. That is unfortunate. Alright, 3-1 with Spirits, however. Let's see if we can go 4-1. Alright, I would love to play first. Hand looks great other than it's missing something. We can keep this. I don't know if it's bottom the... We'll bottom the Shacklegeist because the Lord effects just seem too powerful to pass up. We will lead with getting ourselves a basic island here. And Vial and pass the turn. Spire Bluff Canal. That's a fun one. Sure, we'll shock it in. Drop down this Shacklegeist and pass the turn. So let's see, we hitting blue-red prowess, or is this storm? Because it's one of the two with that Spiral of Canal. That tells me it's storm. Alright. We are not looking pretty against storm. Now we're looking glorious. As we do that, say yes, put in a Supreme Phantom, and get in for 3 here. And now we have Queller. Let's see what opponent does here. Opponent, you okay? We're gonna leave this vial on 2. So this might just be Blue Moon Control Boil version. Oh. Look at the top 6. Alrighty. I'm tempted to hold and wait and see what opponent's doing next turn. I'm not too afraid of anything that they could do here, but Selfless Spirit seems like a pretty good thing to hold up. Just being able to flash that in, give our stuff indestructible in case. The additional points of damage don't seem too relevant here. We'll find out. Okay, they play a land. They drop down Baral. Are they gonna try to start storming off here? Looks like it. Manamorphose. So Damping Sphere, Remorseful Cleric come in. Maybe even Rip. Honestly, so much of the sideboard could be brought in against Storm. They go ahead and Piff. So they're just digging at this point. We get a decent storm count here. If they have red blue, they can. Okay, they go ahead and they gifts. Sure. You're out of mana. So unless you pick 3 lands and a spell. Well, no, you've already played a land, so I just give you spells. Opponent's out of mana. Opponent loses. Three, 6, 7, 8, 9 plus 4 is more than 12. put 2 cards into their graveyard. I'll put Grape Shot and Metamorphose. Activate Vial, Vial and Selfless Spirit. Say okay, do this. That'll happen. We'll say no. We draw ourselves a card. Do this. Vial in Supreme Phantom. In combat, swing out. Congratulations. Alright. So we're facing Storm. I like the idea of Damping Sphere. So let's do what we like over here if it's going to let us. Apparitions can go ahead and come out. They don't play a lot of creatures. I like Damping Sphere. I like Remorseful Cleric as a way to exile their graveyard for when they pass in flames. Rest in Peace is just a good way to stop them from ever having a graveyard. Rest in Peace is arguably better than the Cleric. And Force of Negations here as well don't seem awful. I don't think we want the Clerics. I think we want the Rips, the Forces, and the Spheres, so we need to cut 3. They don't have a lot for us to tap, so we can board out all of those. We'll bring 1 back in just because it's a blue spell to pitch to force. And run it. Let's see what kind of trouble we can get ourselves into against... Alright, well that's an unkeepable hand. Alright, and this hand is a snap keep. Bottoming... Queller? Yeah, actually, I think it's bottom Vial. Yeah, it's bottom Vial. If we rip a land, we're golden. If we're not, we have this Glasspool Mimic tapped. And what do we rip? Not a land. So Glasspool Shore. Pass turn. Sleight of hand. Opponents trying their best to get there. Let's go ahead and show them that they are playing hard mode. Where all happens. Queller. Wanderer, pass turn. We'll have Force pitching Phantom. All right. I kind of like going ahead here and dropping down a Supreme Phantom. Paying costs Abrade 3 damage. Sure. Get in for 2. Opponent's down to 16. At this point, it's just going to be hold up all of our interaction. We have no reason to play out this drogskol. Gifts ungiven. Force of negation? I'd rather you not gifts. Alright, land combat. Get in for one. Opponent goes down to 15 here. Yeah, you can Manamorphose. Draws a card with the Islet. Visions. Spire Bluff. Phantom, okay. Get in for one. We win with this clock. They crack the Islet. Land? File. That'll work. Gives us a way to eventually play things at instant speed. Get in for one. I'm not tapping ever out of Queller. And something tells me opponent knows I'm never tipping out a Queller. Looks like the Rest in Peace is doing its job of making us play hard mode. I can guarantee your opponent's trying to just build up to critical mass to get a decent storm count. They're eating up a lot of their own clock, though, here. So we might... I mean, They've still got plenty of time to combo off and win twice, but all right, a Moorland Haunt. Again, a bit of a non-bow, but now we have a faster clock. Goes for the bolt yet again. We let it happen. Opponent goes down to 11. I don't want them to be able to draw a card here. Now their next spell, unless it's an instant, we can counter using Wanderer. I should have stacked those triggers the other way around. Yep. Because now they get this. And it doesn't change anything here. Because they do everything with this trigger on the stack. So we could counter unless they pay 2. Problem is they can pay 2. Storm count of 8. Piff. Sure. That card doesn't do much. And then empty, make a giant board. Yep. We'll go ahead and concede there. We do not have a board wipe. So we would get coast and not be able to do anything. Okay, opponent knows that they're on hard mode. I want removal for their stuff. We'll bring in the paths. We'll take out Spectral, Geist, Spectral, Vials. Do it like that. Run it back. Keep if we see the rip or the sphere. Ideally more so along the lines of the sphere. And as I said, keep if we see the sphere. Moorland Haunt, Vial, pass the turn. Vial, say yes. Draws Seachrome Croast, which is pretty great for us. Selfless Spirit, pass the turn. Another one of these. We're just waiting on the opponent. They go ahead and bolt. No point to sack the counter. It doesn't change anything. So next turn we will have Damping Sphere into Violin of Rattle Chains. Oak. Say yes. Nice. Seachrome Coast just in the nick of time. White one Sphere. Fast turn. Say yes. Go ahead and take up Vial 2-3 here if we get the chance. Paying costs. Looking at the top 6, reveal an instant or sorcery. Yeah. What do we reveal here? An Abrade. Alright. Problem is, we don't get to counter that. Do that. Do this. Make it look like we've got plenty. So they might go Baral this turn. So that way, and then try to spear on, or kill the sphere on our turn. I don't know. They also just might go straight for the Abrade here. White, blue, exile a creature card and make a spirit. Alright, there you go with the Abrade. We don't have it. This. Wild trigger, always no, always yield. We draw. Rattle Chains number 2. Alright. Meaning, hopefully, opponent has the combo here. Because this will be 6, 7. Puts him down to 4. So that and a Lord off the top will be lethal. This will be a close one. Waiting to see what they do. Oh, buddy, you do not just give me the turn back. Uncounterable rattle chains. Paying costs. Rattle chains happens. We'll target the other rattle chains. We go this way. To see if they've got it. They need more removal. They also now know that we don't have anything in hand, so they could go off. Problem is they have to go off at instant speed. All of their storm spells are sorcery. But they could go for a gifts here. But if they go for a gifts, then they tap out of interaction. Lord. One time. Dang it. Okay. Opponent goes to 4. We pass the turn. Opponent's dead on board. They have to win here. Down to 3. Down to 2. Boy, oh boy, if we had a Lord. So the funny part is they have blue and either they have Baral and then one spell. So I guess the simple answer is don't give them Baral if Baral's in this gifts package. Because then they take too much damage and can't do anything. Well, red 1, that blue, then you can do that. Then you have 2 red. So it's possible. Okay, well, the no Baral and the yeah. So we are dead to rights. Basically is what I'm seeing here. So remove the ritual effects. And they have to do this. Yep. You know that they have Grape Shot, Manamorphose, and 5 unknowns in hand. Okay, can they do it? with their extremely hurty mana base. Okay, that gives them another blue. They go down to that. They have Pyretic. They're at 1. They're now extremely limited in what they can do. They need to kill me here. Okay. Electromancer, sure. Anamorphose. So we know that they have the grape shot. So a storm count of 10 and then grape shot remand. Tiff gets back plenty. Bolts us. We're down to 17. We're down to 14. We're dead to the grape shot in hand. All right. Storm able to get there. Going 3-2 with Spirits. Fun deck, as always. Probably could have played that a bit differently against the Storm player there. But hey, overall, deck feels good. Always fun. I never really got to utilize Shacklegeist or Spectral Sailor too often, so I don't know how those feel in the deck. But I did like Glasspool Mimics as a way to either be a land drop when I needed it. Sorry, we're pseudo 22 lands, or it was a great additional Skyclave or drogskol or Queller. It's just I like the Mimic in this deck. Very nice. Anyway, that's it for this league. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.